Okay, let's try to see how Mrs. Harper solved the problems using SQL operators. So Mrs. Harper needed to find all the books with titles that included JavaScript. So she was looking for a way to find all those books which had JavaScript in their title. So by researching a bit more about SQL operator, Mrs. Harper came across the like operator. Of the like operator, she can compare the values within the column with the values that she is looking for. For understanding it better, let's try to go through the syntax for how we can make use of the like operator. So since we are making use of like operator for filtering a data, we will make use of like operator with the where clause. So we can do select the column that we want to work with, let's say column 1 and then column 2 from the table name that we want to work with. And then we will specify the values on which we want to filter the data values. So we will make use of the where clause and then specify the column that we want to work with. So let's just say we want to work with column 1. So we want some part of the column 1 value to match with the values that we are trying to enter. So by making use of like operator, we can compare the values. So let's just say inside column 1, we want to check if ABC is present. So for doing that, we will make use of the like operator and then specify ABC. So if column 1 has ABC inside it, it will return that row as an answer. So let's take a look at how we can work with this. So let's just say this is one example of the table that Mrs. Harper has. So from this table, we want to return the row values where the title has JavaScript inside it. So we can see that learning JavaScript, we have the keyword JavaScript in it. In the second row as well, we can see that we are having mastering JavaScript. So JavaScript is part of the title. And the same for the third entry. So by making use of the like operator, we can compare the values. So let's try to do select star from the table name, let's say books, where title like, and we can specify the keyword that we're looking for, JavaScript. All right. Let's try to run it. So over here, we can see that only 3 entries are returned. So these 3 entries are returned because they have JavaScript inside it as part of the title. So we have made use of the percentage sign. Right now, you might be wondering what this percentage sign is. For understanding it better, let's try to consider the values that we are specifying after like, they are a pattern. So if title matches this pattern, then the value would be returned. So by making use of the percentage sign before and after the keyword JavaScript, we are specifying we can have an empty value or we can have any value before JavaScript. And specifying percentage after JavaScript also specifies it can have nothing or it can have values after JavaScript. So the percentage operator acts as a wildcard in SQL. We'll try to understand different kinds of wildcard in the coming video. So when percentage is placed before the search item, it means that the term JavaScript can appear at the end of the string. When placed after the JavaScript operator, it means that the term JavaScript can appear at the beginning of the string. And when placed in both the sides, it allows for any text to appear before and after the word JavaScript in the title. So if we are only making use of JavaScript like this, so it will look for title which starts with the keyword JavaScript and then has any random value after this. All right, so when we are making use of the percentage operator after JavaScript, so it only returns the entries where JavaScript is the first keyword. So by making use of the like operator, Mrs. Harper quickly founds the book like Learn JavaScript, JavaScript, The Good Codes, or Mastering JavaScript. Next, a visitor asked Mrs. Harper for books written by specific authors. Authors such as Jane Smith, Alice Johnson, Sarah Lee. Instead of writing separate queries for each author, Mrs. Harper used the in operator to filter the data and the results efficiently. So let's take a look at how we can implement this. So let's just say if we are trying to look for books that are written by the author Jane Smith, Alice Johnson, and then let's say Michael Harris. All right, so we are looking for the books that are written by Jane Smith, Alice Johnson, and Michael Harris. So traditionally, we will make use of select star from books for fetching all the row entries. And then for filtering, we will make use of the where clause, and then we will specify the name of the author. So over here, we want the name of the author to be Jane Smith. Okay, Jane Smith. And for doing the same, if we want to have, and let's say if we want to have the books that are written by Alice Johnson, and we want to have the books that are written by Michael Harris. Let's try to run this. All right, so we can see that we are having 3 different results. So right now we can see that we are making use of 3 different select statements for doing the same exact thing of filtering the values inside the table books using author. So in this particular result, we are specifying the author as Jane Smith, over here as Alice, and over here as Michael. But instead of writing the query for select statement individually again and again, we can make use of the in operator for specifying the author. So over here, we can see that we are making use of the select statement again and again for fetching the rows. But since we are trying to work for different authors, we are filtering it using the where clause. But by making use of the in operator, we can combine all these authors as the valid author. So we can see that over here, the author needs to be either Jane Smith or Alice Johnson or Michael Harris. If the author is any of these values, so we want to return something. So instead of writing the query in 3 different select statements, we can make use of a single select statement from books. And for specifying all the valid author, we can make use of the in statement and then mention the authors. The authors as Jane Smith, Alice Johnson, and then Michael Harris. Let's try to run this. So over here, we can see that instead of writing 3 select statement, by making use of the in operator, we can return all these results in one select statement. So the in operator allows Mrs. Harper to filter books based on a list of specific values, in this case, a list of authors. So by making use of this operator, she was able to find all the books by the 3 authors in one query. So she retrieved a list of books by the selected author, making it easier to assist the visitor. Lastly, Mrs. Harper needed to find books published between 2013 and 2020, as requested by another visitor who wanted only the recent books. She tried to research a bit more for SQL, and she came across the between operator to filter the books within a range of publication year. So between operator helps us to filter the values with a specific range. For example, if we want a column value to be between a certain range, we will filter that particular column by making use of the between operator. Let's take a look at the syntax for how we work with between operator. So we'll specify the columns that we want to work with. So we will do select column 1, column 2 from the table name, and then we will try to filter the values from this table. So we will make use of the where clause. So we will do where the name of the column. So right now we want the values inside the column name to be inside the range, let's say 10 to 20. So we will do column 1 between 10 and 20. So let's try to implement this. So let's take a look at this table. So this table is a replica of the table that Mrs. Harper has. So we are having a set of different books with their author name, their title, and their publication years. So Mrs. Harper is looking for books which are recently printed. So she's specifically looking for books which have a publication year between 2015 and 2020. So for doing that, she'll make use of the where clause for filtering the values. And then she'll specify the publication year, the column that she wants to work with. And then she will make use of between operator. And then she will specify the value. So let's say 2015 and 2020. So we have specified the range 2015 and 2020. So we want the publication year to have the value inside this particular range. Let's try to run this. So as soon as we have clicked on run, we can see entries where the publication year was between the range 2015 and 2020, they are returned as the answer. So the between operator allows Mrs. Harper to filter results with a specific range. This query helped her find all the books that fell within this range of publication year. So Mrs. Harper retrieved a list of books published in the recent year, which were perfect for the visitor request. So we can make use of the like operator for searching for pattern in a column. So Mrs. Harper used it for finding the books that had JavaScript in their title. In operator allowed filtering records that match any value in the specified list. Mrs. Harper used it to find books by specific authors. We also got to learn about the between operator, which filters record with a specific range. Mrs. Harper used this to find books published between a specific range, let's say 2015 and 2020. So by making use of these SQL commands, Mrs. Harper was able to respond to visitors' requests much more quickly and accurately. If this task was taken to be done manually, it would have taken hours to accomplish, but we can make use of the SQL operators to do and accomplish these tasks in seconds with SQL queries. Mrs. Harper was also relieved and proud that she has mastered the SQL tools, making her job much more easier and letting her to focus on other important tasks in her library. I hope you had a good time learning more about SQL operators. Happy coding, everyone.